Hello and welcome to Zagora in Morocco for day 7 of the Estoril Portimão Marraquexe rally. Round 3 of the 2010 FIA Rally Raid World Tour has only two legs to go to decide a tight battle for the lead in both the car and the bike categories. Today we'll be looking at action from the 7th leg, from Zagora to Marrakesh with a 310km stage, but before that, with a roundup of what's happened so far. So leg 1 on the Portuguese stage, as he knows very well, Felipe Campos in the X3 extends his lead every day, while his main rival, FIA Championship leader Russian Leonid Novitsky, struggled on narrow roads. Helder Rodriguez on the bike's Portuguese rider made a perfect start, while his compatriot Paulo Goncalves lost time with 2 punctures. Leg 2 saw Portuguese driver Miguel Barbosa's challenge finish early on. His Mitsubishi Lancer was fitted with a Group N spec rally engine. It broke and he took a 96-hour penalty to change it and carry on. On the bikes, Luis Correa, motocross star from Portugal, on the Yamaha surprised everyone with his debut in Rally Raid with 2 stage wins and an amazing pace. Unfortunately, his amazing pace carried on through a restricted zone and he picked up a penalty for speeding. Leg 3, Eric Figueroa in the Chevrolet Trophy truck had planned to change his gearbox before the first Moroccan stage, but it was too late. It broke 20 kilometres before the end of Special Stage 3 and he had to change it in a petrol station on the way to the ferry. In the bikes, Mario Petre on the Suzuki won the leg riding flat out before realising everyone else had played tactics. They didn't want to open the road in Morocco. Leg 4, the first of the Moroccan stages, the first taste of real rally raid conditions, and the raid expert pounced. Leonid Novitsky took 10 minutes out of Campos' lead in the cars, and Frenchman David Casto moved into the lead on the bikes with a stunning run on the Carbon Sherco machine. Leg 5, and a bad day for Dutchman Eric van Loon in the Mitsubishi Lancer. Nothing went his way. He got stuck in deep sand. He got horribly lost. And he didn't have a good time at all. In the bikes, Casto dropped to 2nd today after his trip and his GPS were rendered useless by condensation, while Verhoeven fixed a fuel tank leak with a sock. On to yesterday and leg 6 for the cars. Portuguese driver Helder Oliveira in the Nissan Pathfinder had been losing time in Morocco with a low top speed. He pushed hard to catch up, lost control on a jump and barrel rolled out of the event. Leonid Novitsky in the BMW X3 got a little bit lost at the start of the stage and had 2 punctures. He just missed out on taking the lead overall and had a real door handler of a battle with Figueroa in the Chevrolet truck on the stage. And here is Eric Figueroa in the fantastic Chevrolet Trophy truck. And finally, today, without any technical problems, the Frenchman had a perfect stage. Maximum attack, perfect navigation from his co-driver, and he won the stage. He concentrated very hard on the last part not to have a puncture, as it was extremely rocky after the dunes. Day 6 for the bikes, and 3 riders got badly stuck in the sand. The dunes were very, very soft. It got tougher still for the bikers. A sandstorm later in the day caught out those running late on the road. and Megra, Correa and Pelica all finished outside the maximum time allowed for the stage and got an 88-hour penalty. Adding insult to injury, it seems. Incredibly hard work to keep the bikes going over the sand. Frans Verhoeven on the BMW ran out of fuel close to checkpoint 1. He blamed it on the local Moroccan fuel, saying the European fuel gave him better miles per gallon. Luckily for him, another competitor, Valsarel, came along and gave him 2 litres to get to checkpoint 1. It looks like he used it, pulling a huge wheelie. Rode very fast in the final pass of the stage and made up a bit of time. David Casto on the Sherco, they made a standard engine change for reliability, and unfortunately he lost his exhaust at the start of the stage. Lost some time and thought he was finished with the victory. 4th overall and 34 minutes from the leader, but enjoying the desert. So today we are on leg 7 of 8, and the stage is going from Zagora to Marrakesh, starting with a nice short 5-kilometre liaison, followed by a 310-kilometre special, and a gruelling run in a 325-kilometre liaison section back to the bivouac. Navigation shouldn't be an issue, but the rocks and the dunes will be. Cyril Desprez said yesterday this stage had been chosen specifically for the large size of the sand dunes. And tonight, the bivouac will have nice modern facilities, as it's the World Touring Car Championship paddock at the Circuit de Marrakesh. So bikes today, big disappointment for Mario Petreo as he broke the engine on the stage and had to wait for assistance. Before we had a problem with the motor, so we changed the engine, but this one there's a problem again with the fuel injection, so I go 20 kilometres, the engine stopped. I've nothing to repair the engine, and so I'm waiting for assistance. And if it's possible, I will run tomorrow. Cesar Valcárcel, the Spanish rider, rode another cautious stage as he learnt the ropes of Rally Raid. He suffered a gearbox problem and lost gears one after the other. He managed to finish the stage losing 2 hours 27. But he only wants to see the finish line in Marrakesh. 7th overall and 13 hours 45 down. David Megra and Luis Correa had a very bad day yesterday. After getting stuck in the sand, Luis broke the gearbox on the stage exactly where David broke his engine, 10 kilometres from the end of special stage 8. Both took heavy penalties, and today David started behind Luis but caught him by checkpoint 2, despite riding with 10 stitches in his arm from a training crash a week before the rally. Correa changed his engine overnight, but this one's less powerful than the first motor, and he said that was why Megra had caught him. His new engine was running a more reliable setting to ensure he got to the finish, but it cost him time today with a high-speed route at the end of the stage. 6th fastest on the day.
In the beginning I have a lot of rocks and big stones, and for bike is really complicated, you know, because all time slippery in the stones. If you need really caution for the end of the race, is complete full gas all time, and my bike is not a really strong engine, because yesterday I broken my engine and today I come for my second engine and not really good.
Helder Rodriguez on the Yamaha, the overall leader, rode another perfect stage today and controlled the pace exactly as he said he would. He started first on the road and said he wanted to get some practice at navigation, but then he stopped at checkpoint 2 when he saw that Ruben Farrier was following his navigation and gaining on him. He rode to the finish with Farrier to control the time loss, 5th fastest, 4 minutes 38 behind Farrier, but a solid overall leader with an advantage of 8 minutes 26. David Casto on the Sherco, another problem for the Frenchman on the stage today. After getting lost himself and losing exhaust yesterday, today he has a fuel pickup problem. The fuel in the rear tanks didn't transfer to the front ones when they were empty, and he lost 10 minutes fixing it. Fourth today, and only 2 minutes 42 behind Goncalves overall, and he says he's going to try and catch him. Paulo Goncalves, a very good day despite getting a bit lost at the beginning. Very much focused on Casto's threat, and he plans to wait for him tomorrow and ride in behind him to control the Frenchman's pace. Third today, and third overall, 30 minutes behind the leader. This was the hardest special. The terrain was very difficult, but at the same time, it was very beautiful, and I had a lot of fun. Frans Verhoeven on the BMW, very good day for the Dutchman who's still developing the bike, second fastest, 1 minute 33 behind the winner.
I think today was the nicest stage we had until now. It was really stunning how nice the landscape was here. We had a pass into the mountains with a lot of rocks, a lot of trial passages, and it was really fun to ride this stage.
Ruben Farrier, Portuguese rider on the Works KTM, the sole Works KTM, of course, after the withdrawal of Cyril Desprez before the start of the event, and finally he took his first stage win in his own right today. Lost a bit of time at the beginning of the stage, but caught Verhoeven and Goncalves, who started before him after 200 kilometres. He rode flat out from there on in, using the power difference of his bigger bike and touching 180 kilometres an hour at some points. He also took a bit of advice from his teammate Cyril Desprez before the start of the stage. I spoke to Cyril yesterday and he said, you must go for it. And I did. I didn't win enough time, but I gave my all. And the bike ran well, so thank you, Cyril. So special stage 8 overall, Ruben Farrier taking his first stage win from Verhoeven, Goncalves, Casto and Rodriguez, all within 5 minutes of each other. Overall, Rodriguez heads into the last day of the rally with an 8 minute 26 lead over Farrier, who must remain a threat. So, join us after the break. We're going to hear some stories from the cars, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what it takes to be a rally raid co-driver. Join us in a minute.
Eurosport Live and the summertime lineup. Here's a taste of what's to come. In football, the focus is on South Africa with Soccer City Live, the show that gets you close to the teams and keeps you right up to speed with all the news and the best of the action from World Cup 2010. June also means Le Mans, the magnificent 24-hour race. We have all the buzz of the week-long build-up with the whole of the race itself, lock, stock and barrel. In July, we're live all the way with the Tour de France, getting the inside story from Lance Armstrong as he tries to regain the crown from Alberto Contador. In track and field, the continent's finest athletes reach for their peak performance at the European Championships in Barcelona. And they go for gold in the water, in butterfly and breaststroke, in freestyle and backstroke, at the European Swimming Championships in Budapest. That's just a taste of what's to come this summertime on Eurosport.
Today we're having a chat with Amadeus Maxka's co-driver Lee Palmer about what it takes to be a rally raid navigator and how being a clock watcher is vital for success in rallies.
We wake up quite early. We prepare ourselves. Our car has been prepared wonderfully the night before by the mechanics. We hop into our car, leave the bivouac on time. We get issued there a card, and from that point on, the clock is the winner. We have specified times to make our liaison to the start of the special tests. We start our special test, obviously go flat out with our balls on fire. At the end of the special test, we hand in our time card again. They'll clock our time, how fast we were in the special test. Then again we have a liaison, maybe to the next special test or maybe back to another bivouac. If you're really fast on a stage, fantastic, you've won the special test or you're in the top position. But on the liaison, for example, you're allocated a certain amount of time. Sometimes it's very tight. You don't have time to waste. You have to get to the next check-in. I learnt the hard way on motorcycles, doing it solo, and a lot of experience and navigation. You can't afford to make mistakes on a bike because you get hurt. All you have to do in the car is learn how to explain yourself and not just think it, but get it across to your driver.
A big part of co-driving is the road book, but what all the symbols and lines mean.
I have to interpret them as fast as possible and as clear as possible to my driver, because really I have our life in our hands. He's steering the wheel, but he normally does exactly what I say. So if I foul up, make a mistake, it can be messy. It can be really messy. So my goal is to get this information over at 120 kilometers an hour, busting my brains through the desert, and get it accurate, so we don't get lost and also don't have a crash. To navigate, we have the total distance, which matches with the trip master here. We have also partials, which I push with these buttons, and it clears, and that gives me 1.03 kilometers to the next message in the roadbook, and so forth. This helps to break up the roadbook and to be more accurate than just working with the total. If you get lost, the total is completely wrong anyway. If you get wheel spin with the vehicle, the total is wrong anyway. You have to recalibrate this all the time. So it's very easy to work with the partials. I also work with the GPS. We have here in the roadbook caps. You see on every note there's a cap with all the other instructions of where we're going. I use the cap a lot with the GPS. I also have a backup trip master, which is GPS then, not working from the wheels. It's very good in sand dunes when you get a lot of wheel spin. That way you can be more accurate with your calculations. You can split the two. Generally we speak in English, but we do have communication problems occasionally, and luckily I speak German as well. So I think quicker in English, so I prefer to navigate in English, but if there's a situation where I have to explain myself, I'll do it in German as well, just to back it up.
English is a very, very exact language, very easy to understand. With not too many words, you can give many informations, and I have no problem with that. If you're really going fast and there are different things happening in the same time, you're bouncing, springing, and there's a fork in the way, and sand spits and a hole, then from time to time it's a little bit difficult. If you have holes or bumps, you can't see it early enough to brake, because your brake distance is longer than what you can see. So you have to rely exactly on the co-driver. He counts down, so he says to me, for example, there's a double caution bump, which means a big hole where you have to slow down a bit, or a triple caution bump. Then he counts down. It's 500 meters, 400, 300, and at 100 or 50 meters I have to brake. Without a co-driver I couldn't manage a special, because you need the navigation, you need for sure the remarks of danger points, and you have so many information of the road book which you can't get as a driver only. It's really 50%.
It's very busy, and I love the challenge of being a co-driver. And I get a great satisfaction out of a great special when it's run really smoothly, and we had a good combination in the car. The driver and the co-driver worked really well together, and there's nothing like achieving a good special test together as a team.
And he's an accurate navigator, so we nearly never get lost, and that's important.
So join us in a few minutes after the break. We're going to be having a look at the top drivers in the cars category. We'll be back in a minute.